Hello, welcome to the JCPod. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell. And man, what a weekend of sports. NBA action going crazy. NFL draft had its weekend. MLB still going on. NHL playoffs, we had some Game 7, had massive upsets. We had a lot going on in the sports world. As you know, it's a Tuesday episode, so the biggest thing we're going to break down is the NFL draft and some of the NFL news that's come from it. But yeah, before we get into the NFL draft, I want to touch on some of the other sports that happened real quick because I think the NFL is going to take up majority of the time. So I would at least like to touch on some of the other sports that have like playoffs going on and everything. Yeah, I forgot to say it too in the intro. Happy May, by the way. We're already in the May. It's crazy to think that we're already 5 months into the year, already almost halfway there. Man, bro, time's flying. It's crazy. I did not expect time to fly like this. It's flying faster than. Personally, for me, I feel like time's flying faster than even when I was in college, and I thought that was. If you get derailed a little quick, I just mean like, uh, man, like for high school, I was told as like high school football coach, hey, this shit's gonna fly by. You gotta get used to it. It flew by. College flew by even quicker than I thought it was, and so far we're over. I can't believe it. Like I'm already been graduated for basically. I think it's like almost like 3 or 4 days. I'm a year from being graduated already. Crazy to think about, but like I said, today's not about me. It's about all the other sports. So we'll start with the NHL real quick. One of the biggest stories come out that, like I said, I'm not a big NHL guy, but I at least have my ear to the ground. Shout out Seattle Kraken. I think it's their first playoffs since they joined the league. I could be wrong, even if it's not. They made it to the second round, which is very, very impressive. I believe I forget who they played, which shows bad hosting by me, but they played somebody, obviously. I think it was like the Dallas Stars or something. I'll have to look it up now. But very impressive win. The NHL playoffs have been quite interesting, honestly. I haven't been watching too much of it. I haven't been like watching, but I've been score watching, and yeah, it's actually like pretty interesting. Yeah, so the Kraken is now going to play the Stars. They played today. Sorry, they played 2 days ago. They beat the Avalanche. That's why I thought it was somebody massive. I couldn't think who it was. They beat the Avalanche. That's really, really impressive. And then, yeah, the biggest one of all, though, the Florida Panthers upset the Boston Bruins, who had the most wins in the regular season ever. I mean, wow. You want to talk about a year of parity in sports? It feels like every sport we got the top seeds falling. Like the Bucks, number one seed, they fell too. Purdue in college basketball, number one seed, they fell. NFL, might have been the same way. The only reason I don't say this because I expected the Chiefs were kind of like a one seed, even though if they weren't, and they ended up winning. So maybe not. Even then, if the Eagles were the number one seed overall, they lost. So, I mean, technically, if you want to go by that, crazy ass year in sports, man. I just can't believe it's exciting, man. Usually, this time of year for me is like the dead period in sports because I just don't have much to watch. And right now, man, like I'm all in. This is kind of I'm kind of interested. I don't know. I don't know if I'll continue to watch hockey, but one sport I will continue to watch is basketball because oh my goodness, man, this NBA action's crazy. We got Nuggets up 2-0 on the Suns already. That ticket's looking good. Shout out me. No, but I was really impressed. I had a little parlay going for fun. Jamal Murray didn't do shit last night. Yeah, like I said, Suns up 2-0. Really, really impressive game. Booker, I think, dropped 30. The Joker dropped 30, I believe. Nikola Jokic. I think KD had like 25. Murray only had like 10, but it was a little bit of a lower scoring game if you had the over. If you had the over, I'm really sorry for you. I don't think it hit. That was 97-87 final score, but very intriguing series now because they took both home games at home. Usually, I'm not going to do what I did last series when it comes to the NBA, especially with the Kings, where it's like, oh, they won both home games now. It's their series. Like, let's wait for a little bit. Let's see if they can steal a road game or two. If they can go up 3-1, that's going to be some dangerous waters for for them boys, the Suns. How about that boy Curry dropping 50 ball last night? Or I guess 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, yeah, 50 ball by Curry to take them on to round two. Now they're going to play the Lakers in probably the most anticipated second round matchup in a while. It's going to be very exciting, man. We got good old Steph Curry versus good old LeBron James. I don't think I need to talk about this series anymore other than that. You got Steph Curry versus LeBron James in the second round. That's not something you get when not many people thought, one, the Lakers were going to make the playoffs, and two, they didn't think these teams were going to play. So that's really, really awesome. Very excited for that. The 76ers, shocking win last night. What in the hell are the Celtics doing? Without Joel Embiid, Harden drops 45. I'm shocked, man. This is just crazy. I mean, the fact that I didn't think they could win without Joel Embiid. Celtics 10-point favorites, losing by 4. That's minus 14. And well, I guess, yeah, because they should have won by 11. They lose by 4. That's about like minus 14, 15 in the differential. That's terrible, man. That's bad. I don't. The fact they lost game 1 at home too. Like now, this is concerning because they should. Man, I could go. I'm just pretty angry about this. Slightly did bet on them, but I mean that bet was already cashed and dead from the beginning. I'm just like mad at man, bro. It just makes me so mad, bro. This Celtics team is playing with their food, and I'm done betting on them for it because it's like, and it just makes me so mad. Like with the Hawks, they should have beat the Hawks in 4 or 5 games. They hang out the 6. Yes, the Hawks maybe did have some more talent than they showed in the regular season, but regardless, 76ers, man, you got to beat them, bro. You have to beat them. No Joel Embiid. All they have is James Harden, who everyone says can't get to the rim, can't do this anymore. He's old. All this and all that. I mean, yes, he dropped 45 though. But I mean, come on, man. You got to win that game. Jason Tatum has 39. They lose. What is that? Who else? Let's see. Jaylen Brown 23. They lose. Malcolm Brogdon added in 20. I don't get how they lose. I didn't watch the game personally. I didn't watch this game at least. I just kind of kept up with the score, and it was just close the whole game. It felt like I just kept looking. It was closer and closer, and I kept watching the spread drop on FanDuel and on the other betting books I was looking at. And it's just like, man, I don't think I'm going to take them at this point now, but I think they still should win, right? Hell no, they did not win. That was very, very frustrating if you're a Celtics fan, because now, yeah, they're down 1-0 in a series that they should have already been up 1-0. Now, for the most important series of them all. Yeah. Them heat up 1-0 against the Knicks. Very, very impressive game 1. Down 10 at half. Looking like they're about to lose. End up pulling a rabbit out of the hat. Coming back and they were actually, I lied. It was 10 at half. They were able to cut to 5 right in the last second. And then they were able to pull away and win. Jimmy Butler does have a rolled ankle. That does concern me a little bit for game 2, but hopefully he should play because ankles are one of those weird injuries where it's like somebody could roll an ankle like slightly and you're like, oh, he's fine, and he has like a grade 15 higher upper ankle sprain that takes him out for 7 months, or some dude could have his ankle touch both sides of the floors after he rolls it and he can play the next play no pain. Very, very weird. So I just really hope that he's okay. I don't know how serious or how bad it is. It was just enough for him not to look the best at the end of the game, and that's very concerning. However, I think he hopefully should be okay, and hopefully he can play for game 2. That's all I can hope for. He had already took one of the important games. They got one of the games on the road, which is important. Because now, as long as they can just handle business at home, they're going to be up 3-1 in the series minimum. But if I'm them, I just want to keep winning, man. Let's keep the train rolling. Let's try to. Obviously, you want to keep winning, but let's try to sweep these boys. Let's try to give Jimmy Butler some extra rest, especially if his ankle does bother him a little bit. I don't think they're going to want to keep him on it. So yeah, tonight we have the Knicks and Heat. I'm on the Heat money line. It was at 7. Now it's dropped to 6.5. So the public's starting to go to the Heat a little bit. I don't know if Jimmy Butler's going to play tonight. He's a game time decision. I'm just going to assume he's playing because it's playoff Jimmy, but I don't know how well he's going to play. Regardless, though, I'm going to bet on the Heat blindly. I don't know if you should do that yourself. Same with the Lakers. I'm going to bet on my boy LeBron in Game 1. Will they win Game 1? I don't know. I'm just doing this as the fact they had a little bit of rest. Maybe they steal Game 1 from them at their home court. But past that, I don't have too much insight on why I'm taking the Lakers. It's just more of a, hey, they had a little bit of rest. Let's see if they can steal a game. But I will not be shocked if the Warriors end up winning that one. But yes, so that basically goes over all the other stuff I want to go over first. So now, most important time, I'm gonna go through quickly NFL news. Like I'm talking 4 or 5 minutes. I'll basically just read some headlines, give quick thoughts, bounce. Headline, quick thought, bounce. I want to talk about this draft. I thought this is the first draft in a while. I feel like that all the teams won. It feels like not many people are complaining about who drafted what. So I just want to get to that. So before I get to that, I have to give out the NFL news. So we're going to go quick. Cardinals won't pick up Isaiah Simmons' fifth-year option. Kind of interesting. I thought they would. But I guess it's a new regime, so it's going to be interesting to see if this is Isaiah Simmons' last season with the Cardinals. I definitely think there's a lot of suitors for him if he doesn't end up staying. Broncos do pick up Judy's fifth-year option. Not surprising. He's probably going to stay for a while, especially with how good he was towards the end of the season. Rodgers looked weird in that 8 for the Jets, but throwing some darts. Apparently, Hopkins is no longer expected to be trading, and that came out from him himself. But I still think there's a chance that DeAndre Hopkins get moved. It's a whole new regime and everything. I wouldn't be shocked, but from the way it sounds like he's probably going to stay, which will be good for Kyler because Kyler does need the weapons. The Bills are signing Latavius Murray. I don't know why. I feel like they have a lot of running backs as it is. I guess. I mean, they signed him. He's playing football. That's about what I got for that. The Panthers are picking up their fifth-year option on Derek Brown. Not surprising. Deion Sanders is the same of the NFL teams after only drafting one HBCU player. The fact that, it does sound terrible, but the fact they even did draft one, which is, I think that's a step in the right direction. Hopefully, the next drafts we'll see like one or two. Hopefully it's just a staple now. Now that one got drafted, that's what I was meaning by it. Like, at least one got drafted. Hopefully now there's a staple where, hey, at least let's get like one really good HBCU. I'm sure it's just hard. I think, obviously HBCU's been around for a while, but I feel like, especially in the media side, it feels like they've just been put on the spotlight map, or put on the map with a spotlight because of like Deion Sanders and everything. So, I don't know, man. I agree. Maybe there should have been one or two more drafted, but undrafted free agents make a lot more money than some of these 6th, 7th rounders lately. So maybe some of them can find a way on a team undrafted and end up making a little bit more money that way. So NFL's targeting May 11th for the schedule release, which is the case. That's gonna be awesome. That if they do release the schedule on that Thursday, that's basically, which is what it should be. They'll probably be, if it's out in time, that's going to be my whole Thursday. I'm just going to break down the NFL schedule a little bit, see what's going on. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be out in the morning, usually when I record, so we'll have to see. Something awful, Shaq Barrett's daughter drowns in the family pool. I'm not going to go any more into that. Basically, they just posted something. I don't know officially like how the drowning happened or anything like that. I just learned that she's drowned. That's just truly awful. If you saw, I think the family has and it was at their family home. I don't know if I think the title said that, but I don't know if I made that clear or not. It's just tragic, man. They have it's him, his wife, and then I think they have 3 or 4 kids counting the baby at the time. So man, that's a whole family that's is going to be missing a whole now. It's a 2-year-old kid. It's like a 2-year-old kid, by the way. The daughter was a 2-year-old that just happened to wander in the pool. It's just some sad shit, bro. So I just feel bad for him, man. I hope that send in positive vibes his way because, obviously there's only so much I can do. I don't know. I don't know the guy, obviously, and everything, but that's a situation I don't think any human ever wants to be put in, ever. It's just something truly, truly sad, man, and I just hope he's able to... I hope they're able to move past it and be able to do something. I think it's time to, talk about the draft, right? Because, yeah, there's basically... Oh, yeah, the Lions traded DeAndre Swift. But, you know why they traded DeAndre Swift? Because they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell. Lions-wise, I thought the Lions had a decent draft. A lot of people are shaken with who they took. They reached, they did this. But somebody brought up a good point. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, maybe. Guess who dropped the pen? I think it was Daniel Jeremiah who brought this up. He was talking about how... Daniel Jeremiah was talking about how, it might not matter. There was some draft he did where they drafted some guy... Hot-ass room again. They drafted some guy, though, in, I want to say the first round, and then I forget when Jason Kelce was drafted, but they drafted Kelce a little bit later. And they were just sitting there what do you think? What? Yes, we drafted a guy who's a bust, but we also drafted Jason Kelce, so does it really matter? So, at the end of the day, it might not matter too much. It's always, in the moment, most people make the most of, he's drafted here, he's drafted here. Overall, though, like I said, I thought everyone had a really good draft. There wasn't anybody who somebody drafted where it's ooh, that's a terrible draft. And I think partially that's because of the talent. In this draft, I think there's a lot of talent, but not a lot of high-end talent. Like, I think there's a lot of good players, a few great players, but not a lot of superstar players. Like, I would not be shocked if there was only, like, one or two All-Pros from the whole first round. Like, by their second or third year, I would not be shocked if there's only one. I just think that this was a very, very talented group of players, but it just wasn't like there wasn't those 5 or 6 players are like, oh yeah, there wasn't that Justin Jefferson where it's like, oh yeah, that dude's gonna be a dude. Like, there wasn't anybody like that. There was just a lot of people with a lot of potential, and so that brings me to the Colts. Man, I thought they were taking Will Levis all week. I thought that's truly what I thought, and they surprised me. Surprised a lot of people. But before we get to the Colts, we'll go through number one. I might give out like the top 10 if I remember off the top of my head, but basically, roughly from what I remember from the draft, number 1, C.J. Stroud, not shocking. I'm very excited to see how he does as a Panther. He has the best system that I think a young quarterback's had in a while to succeed around him. Because I mentioned this a little bit on Friday with my boy Rowan. I talked about how their defense is really, really good, so he doesn't have to feel like the pressure of I have to score every possession. Like, their defense is going to be able to hold. I said their offense wasn't the best, but then a little bit later in the show, I mentioned, oh yeah, they have like Adam Thielen, Hayden Hurst. So they don't have like super, super talented people as of yet, but those are really good players. Don't make it sound like I'm calling those dudes scrubs. Those are really good players to have, and they got really good veteran leadership now on the offensive side. It's just literally all they need is to draft. They're going to get. I forget if they drafted a receiver or not, but they need to pick up 1 or 2 over the next few years. Maybe pick up a really, really nice running back over the next few years. But Bryce Young has a really good chance to succeed. I like where he is when it comes to them. They have a lot of good around them. And I'm very excited. They have a brand new owner who's willing to spend money. I'm very excited to see how the Panthers do in their division. I think Bryce has a chance to be a stud, especially in the division where the quarterbacks aren't the best. Like, he has a real, real shot to do something. Number 2, I won't lie, the top 3 of the draft didn't, I think, went about, as everyone predicted, for 2 months, up until the final, like, 2 weeks of the draft, where everyone thought they were scientists and tried to do some stuff. I'll admit, like, I thought the Texans might try to trade for Trey Lance to get a defender. I was wrong. They did trade, and they did get a defender, but it wasn't for Trey Lance. They ended up drafting C.J. Stroud, number 2. Trade with the Cardinals, who clearly wanted out of 3 to get Will Anderson at number 3, giving up. I forget what they gave up, but they gave up, like, next year's first and a few other things. There's a lot of people like, whoa, why are they doing that? They're going to be bad next year. Why trade? I guess they liked Will Anderson that much, and with the way the draft ended up falling, they're going to need a pass rusher because now there's 4 young quarterbacks in the division for the AFC South now, so it's not a bad pickup, honestly. And that leads me to the number 4 pick, which is where I really wanted to get to. I think this is where a lot of people's mind, this is where the draft started because, yes, the Colts were in on Will Levis. I'm just, man, bro, minus 1,500. I'm driving home. It's minus 1,500 for Will Levis to go 4 overall. I'm sitting there, it's like, oh, man, bro, that's deciding all that. And then all of a sudden, with the 4th pick, the Colts select Anthony Richardson. It's like, what? And now I'll admit, I was watching the Pat McAfee watch along for the draft, so I knew a little bit before the draft him. But basically, once they said Anthony Richardson, I'm like, no way. So I'm so juiced. Like, I am so juiced. After watching Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. Like, I've watched quarterbacks who Carson Wentz was a little more athletic. He could move, but he also rolled both of his ankles on the same play, and I've never ever heard that in my life. That's another level of athleticism that I don't think I can comprehend and understand, that he's so athletic that he sprained both his ankles on the same play. Like, we had Cement Skates Rivers, who was our best quarterback that we've had in a while. Like, worst part too is I love Phillip Rivers. Like, he did the best for the Colts, and I would say out of all the names you gave, if you told me like, hey, this is your future quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, like a fully healthy Carson Wentz 2 or 3 years after a Super Bowl, and then Matt Ryan. Like, I would sit there, I would probably put Phillip Rivers about second. I would probably say, oh, Matt Ryan's probably going to be a little bit better. I might even have said Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz was younger before I knew what happened. And then, yeah, all of a sudden Phillip Rivers ended up being the best, and that was like 3 years ago, and the Colts have been falling off a cliff ever since, basically. So Anthony Richardson's going to be an awesome, awesome move, man. We got a quarterback that can move, that's athletic, that can do stuff. We got a coach that just basically coached Jalen Hurts, and I think he's a mix of Lamar and Jalen Hurts. Just because I think he has Lamar's athleticism, while he also has I think Jalen Hurts has a gun. Like, I think that dude has an arm, and I think that Anthony Richardson has a decent arm as well. So I like that. I like how he has Lamar's athleticism. I think personally, this is just me. If I had to compare him to two people in the NFL, I think he has Jalen Hurts' arm talent and Lamar Jackson's like athleticism, which is I really like for Shane Steichen. I am very, very, very juiced to see how Shane Steichen does with him. Him and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield is going to be something special. There's people saying that, oh, he should still sit here, maybe learn. No, just throw the kid in the fire. I know that might like ruin his confidence and everything, but there's nothing better than experience. The kid made it sound like he's a hard worker, which I really respect and love to hear. So I want to throw him out there week one, let him go through a 17-year too. My expectations for him is I want to see him in a perfect world, in a great world. I want to win 8 to 9 games, maybe sneak into the playoffs, still into division. That'd be awesome because they can do that. That's beating. You just beat the Texans twice, beat Tennessee twice because Tennessee's going to be a mess. And also, speaking of that, shout out Jason McCourty for what he said at the draft. No, I'm just playing. I didn't watch too much of it, but he did like trash the Colts. But the Titans have been beating us for a while, so hopefully maybe this is the mojo we need to turn it around now. But I mean, yeah, overall, very excited with what the Colts are going to do because, like I said, they can beat the Texans twice, beat the Titans twice, which is there's 4 other wins right there. And then I just want to see him win 2 or 3 other games that are outside their division, and I think it's doable. Like it just depends. Like it's going to really depend like how comfortable he feels like learning the system and how it goes. I think he's going to do all right. Like they're scheduled, like, I was trying to look up their schedule, even though I just announced earlier it's not out yet. I think he's going to do all right. I'm very excited to see how my boy does with the Colts. Overall, I just think the Colts have a lot of potential now. I think there's a lot of good chance that their players are going to be good. Now it's just time. Now it's time to see how it goes. We finally got a quarterback of the future, and I'm very excited to see what we got moving forward. Now for the rest of the NFL draft, I'll just kind of go over the first round. I won't really go into the like deep in the second, third round. But like I said, overall, I think it was a really good draft for everyone. Not very many people had complaints about who people took where. Devin Witherspoon was the first cornerback to go. He went number 5 to the Seahawks, which a lot of people were surprised. They thought he might take. They thought they might take like quarterback, maybe potential defensive lineman. Paris Johnson ended up going to the Cardinals like everyone thought they would. Tyrese Wilson was the first edge to go. And then Bijan Robinson went 8 to the Eagles, or to the Falcons, which everyone was kind of surprised about. But apparently if he's that good, I think he is, it's going to be really exciting. Jalen Carter went 9, and then round out 10, the Bears picked Darnell Wright. Past that, some other shockers. Luke Van Ness going to the Packers at 13. I think a lot of people did not expect this, but he's apparently really, really good, so I'm excited to see what happens with him. Christian Gonzalez fell all the way to the Patriots at 17. That was very shocking. I think a lot of people did not expect Christian Gonzalez to fall that far, so Patriots probably got a really good pickup there. Seahawks got a steal of a wide receiver pickup. They picked up Jackson Smith-Njigba at number 20. They got him really, really late, which led to 4 wide receivers in a row being picked. That was Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, and Jordan Addison. Boom, boom, boom. To the Chargers for Johnson, Raven for Flowers, and then Addison went to the Vikings. I'm very excited for Lamar now. Lamar's getting some weapons. He just signed the 5-year deal as of the day of the draft. I did forget to mention that. So Lamar's officially a Raven now. 5-year deal, 200 and like something million. I think it's like 240 guaranteed. Like it's a lot guaranteed. Like I can't remember the deal exactly, but he's making a lot of money, and they finally agreed to a deal. The biggest thing was Nolan Smith fell all the way to 30, which is very shocking. A lot of people thought he was going to go earlier, and due to him falling all the way to 30, he went to the Eagles. Eagles drafted a lot of Georgia players, so they're just getting better and better and better and better. But the biggest news of the night, this year's quarterback that fell in the first round. I don't know if I mentioned on this show. I mentioned on my friend Rowan's show. There's always somebody who falls out of the first round, and it's always sad to see it. Will Levis was the guy who dropped after he didn't go to the Colts, and I think it was like after he didn't go to the Seahawks, you were just kind of like, oh, it's going to be a long night for him. And the night just kept going and going and going. He ended up not showing up to day 2 and ended up being the second pick of day 2. So nothing too bad for him. Yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good NFL draft. A lot of teams got a lot of pieces that they needed. And overall, now it's just the fun part. Now, basically, I hate to say it, but the NFL is basically over. All we're going to have is a bunch of NFL camp news. This is basically the start of a new season, though. So we're just kind of a bunch of camp news. We're basically going to be sitting around till like July-ish. Now starts like the deep run where we're just basically going to be sitting around kind of figuring out like, what's going to happen? Who's doing this? What move we're going to get here? Who's trading what? That's basically where the season we're in now. Also, side note, Malik Cunningham signed with the Patriots out of Louisville. That's one that I'm very, very, very intrigued in. I think he's a way worse version of Lamar Jackson. Not way worse to be like mean to the kid, but Lamar Jackson's something special. I think Malik Cunningham was just like a step under that a little bit, and I'm excited to see the Patriots got a decent guy. They got their cheaper version of Lamar, their budgety version, but I'm interested to see if he makes a roster and how he does for them. But I'll probably end the show there. Honestly, I gave a decent amount of information today. A lot of NFL draft day. A lot of sports talk today. I brought in some NHL playoffs, made a guest appearance today. Let's go. When it comes to the future of the channel for the next month or so, I'm going to hopefully have my boy on. We'll see. I have a guy that I have lined up for hopefully a guest. I just got to make sure I can record it, everything works smoothly, and then hopefully within at worst 3 or 4 weeks we'll have a guest. I'll finally have our first guest on. But we'll see. I don't want to promise anything because you know how technology is, but I'm hoping here soon to have a new guest on Wednesdays, and also tuning into that, something surprise here. I'm hopefully going to go to 3 days a week. My goal is to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to do it this month. I don't even know if I'm going to do it next month, but hopefully starting like July, August, I'm going to start getting to the habit where it's like I'm going to start releasing 3 a week. And mainly the third episode, the middle episode on Wednesdays, is probably going to be the biggest episode where I have the most guests on. Obviously, I'll probably have guests occasionally on my Thursdays and Tuesdays episodes, but the goal is to plan just basically to have Wednesday be the main episode for guests, and especially for the one guest. There's one guest I'm probably going to have on weekly or bi-weekly. I already talked to him about it, that he's basically going to own Wednesday shows because of how often he appears. But past that, then I'll have the occasional guest speaks on Tuesday and Thursday, because this summer, if I can, I would love to have like people, like fans of their team, on for a little bit to talk to their team when I go over my division matchups, but I don't know. A few of my friends are like nice. Thankfully, a few of my friends are like spread out that they love different teams, so I could get some different teams, like opinions from fans. We'll see. I might just have like a small little like 20-30 second clip of them, how they describe their team, how they feel about their team. Or you might have them just text me, and then I'll say, hey, this is what my friend who's a fan of the Steelers is saying, or my friend who's a fan of the Packers, or the Eagles, vice versa. Like, that's probably some stuff I'll be doing overall. Now that it's May, though, we're getting really, really close. I think it's either going to be towards the end of this month or the beginning of next month. I'm going to be starting my NFL series where, now that we got the draft and everything, a lot of people are signed. I am just, and then, like, I think this is the upcoming soon. They're going to have, like, the cutting period where they cut all the players and all this. They do all the roster moves. I'm excited, man. That's where I'm going to be hopefully able to break down the NFL rosters for each team's in a division, how I think divisions are going to rake out. Like last year, I did it for each individual team, individual videos. I'm probably going to combine each division to one long video so I can just make it a 40-50 minute pod that you can just throw on in the background of something and listen to. And get your NFL news. And then I'll also have a futures episode. I don't know if they even have any NFL futures out just yet, but up here soon I'm going to be going through my NFL futures because there are some ideas that I want to take, but I don't know what the odds would look like on that, so we have to go through that. But yeah, overall, like I said, that's probably where I'm going to end it for today. I just gave you, to end the show, an idea of what you're going to be seeing over the next few months. Still NFL news on Tuesdays and everything, along with some other stuff. Wednesdays, hopefully soon, will become like, I don't know what they're going to turn into. They're definitely going to be like a sports talk, but it might be like, for example, like, the first guest I have on, he's a baseball guy, or one of the guests we have on the baseball guy. For the Wednesdays for the summer for a little bit, like every at least like 2 weeks, minimum 2 weeks, I want every other week, I want him to be able to come in and be like, hey, this is what's happening in the baseball world, blah, 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 blah. Just because, yes, I'm giving out baseball information, but it's not my biggest sport. Like, as much as I do love it and everything, like, I'm a football and basketball guy more than I am a baseball guy. This guy knows a lot more about baseball compared to me, and plus I think you guys would love to hear another opinion on the show that's not just mine all the time. But like I said, thank you again for watching. I hope everyone has a good rest of the day. I'll see everybody on Thursday with my Ooh, I don't know what I'm going to do Thursday. Honestly, this Thursday might be... I might push it up. I have a COLTS story I want to do. We might do it this week with Anthony Richardson. I also have some other NFL stories I could do. I don't know. We have an NFL story, though, coming this Thursday that I need to decide on. I have like 3 or 4 ideas I want to do. I don't know which one I want to do exactly yet, though, so I'll have to see. But, yeah, you can expect that for Thursday. But, yeah, basically I'll just see everybody for Thursday's episode.